I wonder if that's like a...
The social media.
Right.
Piece, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you want to say something as well?
Yeah.
Peter?
I wanted to say that I think that I didn't realize, and now I know so much better about all the arguments and things, and I think that all the people in this program, the Armenians and Azerbaijanis, they're such intelligent teenagers. They have such strong opinions that I don't have a lot about American politics at all. And I think that even if they don't change each other's minds, I hope that they at least learn that the people in the other country also are so smart and have really adult opinions about a lot of things. And so even if they don't change each other's minds, they at least recognize that there are people on both sides.
Yeah, and it's not even just that. It's like when we were in Azerbaijan, we had this discussion about do you trust your government? And a lot of people said, yes, we trust your government. And the thing is, in America, it was actually a comment, you basically learn to not, you love your government, but you never trust your government because they're always looking to change it to make your country a better place. And I think that some people maybe got offended who aren't from America because, when you say, I don't trust the government, it sounds like you're insulting your culture, your government, everything, but you're really not. And what I was trying to get from that day and what I'm trying to get from kind of what Anna said and what everyone just said is I hope that people are able to definitely open their minds, understand that the world is subjective because everyone's different world is true. It's if you have an opinion and that's the way you see the world, that's not wrong. And everyone in the world has their own subjective world, so the big world is just subjective.
Its perspective is reality.
Perspective is reality. That's why I try to say that.
That was another
wait, hold
theme
on.
in the book that I read. There is no objective reality.
Wait, but basically, that's why I wanted, it's kind of frustrating because when you're trying to teach or trying to convey a point to another culture that isn't as liberal, really open speech about every single thing, you hardly censor anything. I hardly censor anything I say, you can just tell. But basically, it's hard to teach that to a culture that's not used to that, and that's kind of the one thing that I wanted to get from this human interaction was even though, some cultures don't, aren't the same, that not all cultures practice, as much free, just blah, 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 free speaking about anything, that there are cultures out there like that you can maybe just something to think about. I just want people right now from Armenia and Azerbaijan and other Americans just to be able to think about the fact that you can have something in your mind, you can think a certain way that's not mainstream, and that you can ponder other people's from other cultures' perspectives and try to get that kind of outside view. You don't want to have tunnel vision your whole life and just see life through the one way that's been hammered into you. It's just being able to see that as a skill that I think has been really important in these human interactions that I hope continues as people keep blogging and people keep thinking about it when they're at home. I hope that they keep thinking about it. I hope we all keep thinking about the fact that the world is...
Absolutely. And I know that I saw a couple hands, so feel free to jump in the conversation.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It sounds like y'all have an incredible experience, and it's really good to hear your perspective. But I was wondering, are we going to hear from the Armenian and the Azerbaijan students, or is there a reason for that?
There's a variety of reasons for it, and you're certainly welcome. I mean, there are a couple of students here that are part of the program as well, and you're certainly welcome to find them and talk to them. But for a variety of reasons, dealing with just making sure, because all the students in the program are minors, and there are some restrictions on taking photos of those students together and of that kind of thing. So we elected as program staff to not do that, which is unfortunate because I totally, this conversation, if we could have had it with all 30, if we could have had it with all 90 students who started at the program at the beginning, it would have been even more interesting to hear it's that kind of diversity of opinion. And I just see one more hand.
Phil, you have a question?
Yeah.
I have two now questions. One to you and one to the group if possible. And will it be possible, I don't know about the time, to have here separated from the groups, if not, together? That's one to you. And the second question to the group. I'm also involved in some Armenian Azerbaijani programs, And the big debate we have is if the program is not focused on the conflict itself, let's say as yours, it's focused on social media, is it a good thing to leave, and I really want your opinion, to kind of put conflict aside and try to focus on only that part? Or is it good to have also a structured conversation about the conflict and, kind of combine the two?
I see a lot of opinions. You all shut up. And I will just say, in respect to your question, the DOTCOM students are the really, really good-looking ones that are floating around. So all these well-dressed, beautiful young Armenians are part of DOTCOM. So you're welcome to find them. I would really encourage you to talk with their program manager, who's back there and somewhere. And so that the conversation like this, when you're dealing with young people, they're very mature, they're adults. I have the greatest respect for them. But when you're dealing with a lot of different opinions, it's nice to have a little bit of facilitation. So yeah, I would welcome you. Is that okay? To contact the program manager and get a few DOTCOMers to have a conversation too. Yep, great. Now back to the question. The question being, is it good to discuss conflict specifically, or have something around which you can engage and then conflict will be secondary?
Actually, I think I can rephrase it. Pretty much is it like putting aside, putting aside the differences and only focus on commonalities, or still the differences should be addressed? So this is my question.
Let's keep the answer short, because I think everybody has an opinion on this one.
I have a short answer.
Okay.
10 words or less.
140 characters.
Yeah, you're between our answer.
I think that you shouldn't say, no, we won't talk about this, but you should focus on the issue that you've come together to focus on, and let natural conversations about that happen and come up, and don't censor them.
Do you agree? Go ahead.
If you focus on the differences, that just shuts people off and they don't want to talk. But if you focus on If you focus on the commonalities and you focus on this project that you're doing, then eventually people will start talking about the differences, and that'll lead to meaningful conversation, which will lead to social change.
I think it's absolutely necessary to discuss biases and stereotypes that people have before anything else. And this is not from this program. This is from something totally separate that I dealt with in high school. We had facilitated conversations about sexism and racism and classism, and we all put our stereotypes on a piece of paper on a wall, and it was hard, and everyone was crying, and it was horrible, and it was gross, and it was uncomfortable, and we were vulnerable, and it was yucky feelings, but things came out of it. And this program got close, but it wasn't that same kind of vulnerability. And so I really would encourage you to, it's not going to be fun, and it's going to be really hard, but I think that talking about a conflict and facts is not going to help, but I think discussing biases is really impactful.
David and Katie both have things to say.
I was just going to say that I agree with Tessa's opinion. Obviously, you guys can see we have different opinions, but I agree that it may come up, the complex discussions may come about in the wrong way, the wrong people, the wrong context, and it needs to be facilitated, especially among for youth, especially anyone, it needs to be facilitated. But I do agree that a lot of conversations have come out just naturally, so it's really hard to like decide.
How about, did you have a comment too?
Yeah, well, I just,
Let's start with you. Okay.
you want to go last?
No, I just
Maybe you don't get to be the keynote.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll
shut
just-
people up
no,
and
it's
change the
good.
topic.
I just think that, I just want to put in, like, I think it would be awesome if we had done that, because we sort of sometimes hid behind the other projects, you know, like that was really easy, you could easily hide, and I think it was not the right time to hide, yeah.
Well, so just like what Katie was just saying, you know, the focus of this program, our commonalities, our similarities was social media. And an approach to media in general, social media is the democratic approach to media. It's getting everybody's opinion out there. Now, in the countries of Armenia and Azerbaijan, media tends to come from very narrow numbers, very narrow sources, you know, narrow-minded sources. You know, television, which is sort of censored in both countries. Not a lot of people get news.